just became a flight attendant? Me? Who just completed their flight attendant training? Me. So we are done with training. I am a certified flight attendant. I got my certificate to prove it, but that's not the point. In today's video, I will be showing you guys my first schedule. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome. Today is a recording spree, so if you've been watching my channel, you would know that I went for flight attendant training. I started in March, I ended in April, and I do have a schedule for the upcoming month, which is May. I did not bid for this schedule because I did not have the time to do so, because during the time bidding happened or opened, I was still in training, so I wasn't qualified to do so. This is my first scheduled video. Hey, first scheduled video. If you've been on this channel, you will know that I am new to the aviation industry. I am new to becoming a flight attendant. I've never been a flight attendant before. So my approach into going into this new adventure is just allowing things to happen as they happen, because I want to experience it raw, because I know we have the power as flight attendants to be able to manipulate our schedule, adapt, change, switch, swap, drop, do all that good stuff. But at least for my first schedule, I did not want to do anything to it. I wanted to work it the way it was just to see how it would turn out. So I'm talking a lot. Let me just go ahead and share with you guys my schedule for May. So I do have a schedule board here. I'm not sure if it's visible. I hope it is. Let's see. Okay, it is. The focus is doing what it needs to do. But let me go back. Let me readjust the camera real quick. So in certain portions, while I'm showing you the schedule, you guys might not see my face, but that's not important right now. The schedule is. All right, so if you ask me, I think it's very basic for a new hire, because at the end of the day, I'm not expecting to get like the best schedule or anything. I hope you guys can see. I'm going to try to move it in the direction in which it's visible to you all. So my training ended April 21st. And because I still had a few days before the month ended, we were given 4 days to transition into our base and all that good stuff, moving days or whatever they call it. And then right after the 4 days, so 21st, so 22nd, 23rd, 24th, 25th were the days off, the moving days for anybody that had to move or to go back home and get situated at your base. And then on the 26th, because it's 22nd, 23rd, 24th, 25th. 26th was base orientation. And then you get at least with my schedule, I had a day off. And then the rest of the days were set as A days. A days are essentially on-call days if you're new to the flight attendant industry. So for me, right out of training, after my days off and my days orientation, my next schedule were 8 days, on-call days. So I had a block of 6. So part of my 8 days from April did bleed into May. So my 8 days per this, I hope it's visible. So this is, I hope it's visible. It looks weird here. So yes, so this calendar, I started it off from the 30th of April. So my 8 days started on the 28th all the way to May 3rd to give me the block of 6. So right now, today, for example, which is the 28th, is the start of my on-call days or my 8 days. So that's the 28th, and it goes all the way to May 3rd. And then I have the next 3 days off, and then I have more 8 days, which is here, the second box here. So yes, so this is another block of 8 days, but this is a block of 3. Then I have 3 more days off, 1, 2, 3, and I get another set of 8 days, which is here, and then 1, 2, so 3. All right, let's reposition ourselves. We're still figuring things out, guys, so be patient with me. All right, so essentially, if you ask me, the month of May has several 8 days, and because my block of 8 days bleeds from the month of April into the month of May, I technically in the month of May have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I get 9 8 for the month of May. But we're not complaining. We're new. We're very low on the seniority chart. So no complaints here at all. Some people go straight into a full month of 8 days. So I'm down with it. I'm not complaining. Plus, I live at my base. So it's not really the end of the world with all these 8 days and stuff like that. Plus, I had to go through a certain process because of one of the countries that I would have to visit at the base that I am assigned at, and that caused my passport to be taken away. And one thing I did learn is that when you don't have your passport with you, you cannot be called for airport standby. So airport standby essentially is when you are on call, but then you're assigned to go sit at the airport for a certain amount of time, just in case somebody doesn't show up for their flight or something goes wrong or they need people to help do something work related, you can get called on to do it, like boarding and stuff like that, or deplaning and among other things. So because I don't have my passport, I don't qualify to be called for that. Because once you're on call or standby at the airport, you can be called for an international trip. There's no filtering system to distinguish who is this and who is that, who has a passport and who doesn't. The expectation is that you can't be sent anywhere in the world. And right now, I cannot be sent anywhere in the world. So I can't be on standby at the airport. So that's the brief thing here. So majority or all of my 8 days until I get my passport will be spent at home. And where I'm assigned, I have 2 hours to report if I get called or assigned something, unless it has a later time or something like that. But here we are. All right, so like I said, the first week of May, I have 8 days and then 3 days off. The second week of May, I have more 8 days and 3 days off. And then the third week of May is when it gets exciting. So the third week of May, I do start the week off with 8 days. However, I get 2 days off and then I get a 3-day trip. So it's domestic. Obviously, I don't have my passport, so I can't go internationally. So I do have a 3-day trip. And one thing I did notice at my base, which is Seattle, is that we get a lot of high-time domestic trips. So you would find domestic trips averaging like 18 hours, credit hours, or 20 or 21. I saw one yesterday that was 21. And I was like, wow, that's like literally like a trip to Accra or something like that. So I was pleased to see that I can still do domestic and still rack up credits and make that money, you know, because we don't work for free. So I do have a 3-day trip. So my actual trip life, or I actually have my line trips start in the 3rd week of May. So I have a 3-day trip. Then I have 1, 2, 3 days off. Then with the company that I applied to, they now have us go for monthly like new orientation meetings and stuff like that, new hire orientation meetings. So we have one scheduled every month for 6 months. And because you're on probation for 6 months. So I do have one scheduled. So after my initial 3-day trip, I have 3 days off, and then I have the new hire orientation as well. And after that, I start another 3-day trip, which is also domestic. So yay for me. Come to think of it, I don't have a day off before this 2-day trip. Let's get it together. Oh, okay. I have not been paying attention. So I literally just noticed something. I do have I have a 3-day trip, right? Domestic trip from the 25th to the 27th. And then I have a 2-day trip right after that, which is the 28th to the 29th. But after a domestic trip, you're entitled to 12 hours of rest. And then after an international trip, you're entitled to, I think, 24 hours of rest. I don't have 24 hours of rest, but I do get more than 12 hours of rest. So I'll definitely get some rest after this 3-day trip. I guess it's going to be tough the last few weeks, huh? Okay, so because right now, I don't want to touch my schedule because I really want to experience the job in its raw state, because my consideration will be that I will try and drop this trip here, this 2-day trip at the bottom here, so that I can pick like a 3-day trip for the last 3 days of the month. or the last 2 days of the month or something. But like I said, I'm trying to deal with things as they are. I'm trying not to touch it. I really did want to pick up some trips in between my days off, but if you've been watching flight attendant videos, you would know that when you start off, you think you're good to go. You can take up as many hours as you want, do so much, but you might get burnt out. And I'm trying not to get burnt out. I'm trying to go at a slow pace, very low momentum, just so that I don't get burnt out. I want to save my energy for the actual trips that I do want to work once I get more experience. So right now, I'm just waiting things out. And like I said, the first 2 weeks of this month is all 8 days and days off for me. So I'm just going to sit home and hope that I get assigned a trip. I do have the ability to put in preferences for the sort of trips, or if I do want to work, hey, like preference that I do want to work, give me any flight at all, and I'm open to working it. But like I said earlier, my seniority is very low, so I might not get the things that I request for, because if there are other people who are at the base that are more senior than me that are requesting for the same thing, then they might get it too. But I'm just going with the flow, and I will definitely talk about pay among other things. But on those 8 days, I am getting paid for the days, which is about 4.45 credit hours for each 8 day. So I'm staying at home, like literally right now, I am on an 8 day and I'm recording my videos, because I looked on our board and I noticed that there was only one trip. There was only one trip that was on the board that did not have the minimum crew yet. And it's a 1 day trip. And because I'm starting a 6 day block, that day, that trip will potentially go to somebody who has 1 day for 8 days left, or 2 days, or possibly 3 days. I don't think it will even get to 3 days, somebody who has 3 days left, unless there's nobody that has 1 day left in their 8 day or 2 day left in their 8 day. I don't qualify. I don't qualify to be called for that trip, especially when there are other people with just 1 day left of their on-call days. So I can literally see that there's no work, no flights, no trips on the board, you know? So technically, I can't be called today, and I cannot go airport standby because I don't have my passport. So I was like, you know what, let's make the day very useful. I am working, I am on the clock right now, so might as well do all the other jobs that I have, which is creating content for you guys. So yeah, this is my first my first schedule for the month, and I'm not super stoked about it. I'm not like excited about it, but I really don't have anything to look forward to because I'm new to the industry. So whether it's good or bad, I don't really know. And it is what it is. So yay, it's official. We are in the system. We have a flight attendant schedule now. We are ready to go. Thanks for watching today's video. I will try and do this every month. This should be going out on the 1st of May. That way we can start the month off right, okay? So if you've made it this far, it means you like the content that I'm sharing. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for supporting me. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and give the video a thumbs up. Drop a comment in the comment section below as well. What was your first schedule like right out of training? Let me know. Also, feel free, I give you permission to share my content on all social media platforms. Give your girl some visibility. I am putting in the work here, okay? So support me by sharing my content with others, okay? Thank you so much once again, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye-bye.